Hey, Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Get ready for another TV review. And fans, today we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead, Season 5, Episode 3, otherwise known as A Roof and Four Walls, I think it was called. Yeah, folks, this episode had to do all about with Gareth, and it had to do with Bob and Sasha. Those were the heavy focal points in this particular episode of The Walking Dead. Basically, what happens in this episode, it picks off right where it left off from last week, as Gareth and his hunter group, straight from the comics, are eating Bob, and it was freaking crazy. They're eating his foot, or they're eating partial of his leg, or whatever it is. And right as Gareth is talking to him and telling him about this group and what they're going to do to Sasha and things like that, it comes straight out of the comic books, guys, and he starts cracking up and he's saying, "Ha ha ha, you ate tainted meat." And that was an awesome beginning to this actual episode of The Walking Dead. A great intro, just a true tribute to the comics there, and I really appreciate that as a comic fan. As the episode progresses, we get to see Rick and the group come across Bob. They see his, leg missing. They bring him into the church. They find out that he's actually been bitten, and they realize that the end for Bob is actually near. And Sasha and the rest of their group have to go out and find Gareth and take care of the threat before they take care of them, basically, is what happens. And in this episode, we get to see, struggles here with a few characters. Sasha trusting Gabriel was one thing. We get to see a struggle with Abraham and Rick, because Abraham felt that there was too much of a threat and that they needed to go to Washington. So they came up with this deal that Abraham would stay for another 12 hours, and once the 12 hours is up, as he would leave and he would take part of Rick's group with him, and then they would meet up with them later on. So you get to see the struggle between those characters as well. It was kind of a slow episode, I thought here, but for the most part, it was still kept my interest, especially in the one part where there was this really intense scene where Gareth and Hunters wind up going into the church, and we can see that he found out that Carl and some of the other group members were in there with Judith, and just as they were about to knock off Carl and the rest of the group, Rick comes with his people, and let's just say, I'm not going to spoil it, but he takes care of Gareth and everybody else. And I must say that I was actually surprised that this Hunter storyline has basically come to a close this quickly right here. I didn't expect this to happen in this episode. I thought it was going to go on for a couple episodes. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, because how long could they actually drawn this out for? This episode in itself felt a little bit drawn out with Bob's death in here. Going forward into next week, it looks like we finally find out what's going on with Beth based off of the previews that you saw at the end of this particular episode. Yeah, so, I was again shocked at Gareth's death. I liked how Bob was kind of like Daryl in this instance, how they used him. And, in the end, I think Bob kind of redeemed himself for me. He was that guy that had the 9 lives. He was the man that was the alcoholic. He didn't want to give up the bottle. He almost died a couple of times. He put the group in jeopardy. And let's just say again, his 9 lives are up, and Bob's run on this show is over. So, you know what? Overall, I'm going to give this episode probably a 3 3/4 out of 5 stars. Was not my favorite episode this season. Didn't have much suspense going in. It had a really strong intro. The middle I thought dragged a little bit. There was some tension moments between characters. The one scene with Gareth Des was really, really good. And the end kind of just left you hanging just a little bit. Kind of a weird ending. It just kind of ended. You know, it was like, what's going on there? So, yeah, 3 3/4 a star for me, guys. Really close to being 4 stars, but not quite there. So, guys, in the comments below, leave me what you thought of this week's episode of The Walking Dead. And, guys, as always, don't forget to check out comicfrontline.com for all kinds of news articles. Check out comicrelated.com or comicrelated.com for all kinds of other news articles and a whole lot more. And if you want to see more of my reviews, you guys can check out Comic Book Corner 2.0. So, guys, until the next comic book review or TV review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off, and thanks for watching, fans. See you soon. Bye.